Alright, we're back. I'm recording, hold on. Yeah, I'm recording. Okay. The door to the cellar swung shut. You had fallen to the floor at some point, unable to bear the stench of blood. The maid stood behind you, her arms wrapped around your shoulders. Oh god. The maid's voice was chillingly gentle. That was quite horrific, wasn't it? Are you feeling unwell, Master? Oh my, you're shaking, Master. Fear not, I assure you the beast will not come through the door. I am here for you and I will continue to hold you for as long as you need to settle your nerves. Oh dear, do you feel like you might freeze in my arms? Am I really that cold? I cannot tell my own temperature. Hehehe. You wish to know what happened to the bestia after that? I could open the door once more and show you. But I have no intention of knowingly tossing you back into that den of horrors. He lost the rest of his humanity and become a holy beast. But, to tell you just a little more of the tale, it is my understanding that the entire village was ravaged shortly thereafter. He was a bewitchingly talented swordsman. Not a single person living in that village could stand up to him, so he destroyed the entire village. Holy sh! In the woman's memory you saw, he was a gentle man, yes. But even the mildest of men can change. Though personally I believe that without an element of monstrousness buried somewhere within, a man cannot become a beast, regardless of what may push him in that direction. Do you follow? Now tell me, Master, have you remember anything? Oh dear, I was afraid of that. I am a remarkably patient maid. I shall accompany you for as long as you require. So do please find your memories. Now let us head to the next door. The mansion is quite large, so hold on to my hand. We will not want to get separated. You and the maid travel down the dimly lit hall, passing by the mirror once again. The light from the candle in the maid's hand was the only thing that reflected in it. The maid herself did not appear. However, just as you were about to avert your eyes, you thought you caught a glimpse of white hair. Is the white-haired girl in there? Ooh, the mirror's changing. You heard a voice echo in the darkness. And when you turned to face the mirror again, the glass was the color of obsidian, as if it had been painted over. The voice seems to be coming from beyond the mirror. The maid did not turn back, evidently having not heard anything. You... but it's a choice. Oh no. Oh, I have a choice. Hold on. Yeah, can I save? Okay, let's save here. And we will do different routes and see which one gives us the best possibility. So, do I just avert my eyes and follow the maid, or extend my hand into the blackness of whatever that thing is. Of course I'm gonna extend my hand. What else do you want me to do? You extend your hand towards the darkness, overrunning the mirror. The second your hand brushed against the surface, the tips of your fingers sunk into it. And the next thing you realize, your whole world was sinking into darkness. You could hear a voice. The white-haired girl? I am. The witch. So is the white-haired girl. I saw a flower garden. Is that a flower garden? No. Giselle? It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, alright then. Who's a Giselle person? I'm butchering that name, I know. This deep in the forest. Thank you very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I am looking for. Yes? You could have said something. Who's he? Oh well. I should get going, I guess. Does no one live here? But if that's the case, then why was I... Such a big door. You were probably summoned by the mansion. Please open. I don't think that's how you open a door. It's not locked, I guess. You don't just say, please open to a door and expect it to open. I wonder if the windows open. Darn, there are not a hint of light. Hello, is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around for a bit more. What do we have here? Drapes. I see. A little light beyond. Hey, we've been here before. It's so pretty. The music is good. It looked like an angel. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be... Please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows. Whoa, who are you? You look like Jesus. Wait, Jesus with white hair. I'm sorry for coming uninvited. But, I did announce myself. Michael. Mikhail. Is this, your mansion? It is. Thank goodness, I was afraid it was deserted. I suspect you would have preferred it if the house were abandoned. Oh, he's just like the white-haired girl. Oh, not at all. I would be scared to death staying in this dark mansion all by myself. I'm sorry. No, I will intend it. But I do think it could do with some lights. That way you could see where you're walking. And I'm sure this room would look splendid illuminated. Not necessarily. I make do perfectly well as things are. How can you see when it's so dark? I have an abundance of candles and oil for lamps. I am not in want of means of creating lights. It's not your place to criticize my lifestyle. If you need light, you are free to leave. If you are in need of money, then help yourself to some of the furniture. That's the same thing the maid said. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food and then make your way to a larger town. Yeah, that's what the maid said. I'm no longer able to freely return to the city. I cannot go back there. Please, don't chase me out. I see. And do you access of me aware how people refer to this mansion? They say that a witch lives here. Not merely a witch. A curse witch. If you remain here, you too shall likely suffer your own destruction. You are worried for my well-being. Which or not, my mind is made up. Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse? You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale. The witch is real, very much so. It's not a legend or a fairy tale. The witch. We got a name. The witch's name was Morgana. Is that the white-haired girl name? Morgana? Wait, that's it? Morgana is me. The witch is me. Wait, I'm confused. Your name is Michael, but you said the witch's name was... Oh, was Morgana. I got it. The name changed. What was that? I mean, we could go into backlogs. The witch name was Morgana. The witch is me, Michael. The witch's name was Morgana. Okay, what was that? Giselle? Oh my, what is the matter, master? You didn't see any of that. Why are you just standing in place? There's nothing there. The maid did not seem to have seen anything. You made her to ask her about the scene you just witnessed. I'm sorry, what? Wait, what? What did I say? The maid did not seem to see anything you made to ask her about the scene you just witnessed. And her face... The world... Master, you look like you've just seen a ghost. Not... What's the matter? You're a swirl. How about a little rest before we move on? Do you not wish to remain here? Still not fond of mirrors. Yes, now let us be off. I too dearly wish for you to return to your old self as soon as possible, master. If you desire to push onward, then I could hardly be happier. Now follow me. As her face... You followed the maid's lead, returning to the living room. From there you climb a set of stairs, your hands sliding through the dust that had laid settle on the ebony railings. When you step out of sight of the mirror, the maid returned to normal. You had been on the verge of remembering something, but you were no longer in the position to be concerned about such things. For the chill in the air within the mansion seemed to have intensified. Standing at one end of the long corridor, you asked the maid, "When was the mansion built?" "I would imagine you know more about that than me, master." "Yes, I know. You have not yet regained your memories. So I know when the mansion was built? I was simply teasing you. I've been a servant of this house for many, many years, but the truth is I do not know everything about it. All I know is that the mansion is cursed, and that it has brought misfortune upon its residents since time of old. I can make a conjecture as to when it began. I believe you should figure it out yourself, master. There's no guarantee my perspective is the correct one. Now let us proceed." You and the maid traveled down the dimly lit corridor. While the layout of the house was the same as in the eras of the flaxen-haired boy and the beast, the bleak, colorless gloom felt incredibly dreary. On the wall partway down the hall hung a painting. The painting, which depicted a beautiful landscape, was oddly entrancing, but you did not have the time to appreciate the artwork. And now noticing that the U is always beginning with a capital letter for some reason. Your hand in the maid's, you passed by the painting. Before long, a door came into sight at the end of the hallway. Yeah. This door is what I would like to show you next, master. Listen closely. Do you hear the voices? Lively but rough, energetic but coarse. What lies beyond this door is neither a period of elegance and abundance, like the first, nor one of ruin and savagery like the second. Technology and culture had become quite developed. Cameras, photography had been invented. It was a time of great progress and many breakthroughs. And for that reason, those who live in it were constantly seeking to try new things. The tale I'm about to tell you is one of a man who wagered everything on his ambitions. This is new, master. I hope that what you see, master, will stir something in your heart. Now, through the door we go. Please do not let go of my hand. The maid pushed open the door. Colorful balls bounced around atop of a long, dark green table. One man dressed in black and standing by the billiards table turned towards the door. The room was inundated with eye-watering cigar smoke, causing you to squeeze your eyes shut. So this billboard, this is like, I'm assuming, the industrial era. The third door, 8069. We're getting close. Damn it. Hey, look, gears. That that era was rat. That era was a rat race of innovation and development. Whoa, what the? The smoke was so thick you could hardly see more than a few feet ahead of you. Why does it look? You notice that this background is different for every doors, right? There's like an image. Whatever. I could compare it to a dense morning fog, but that might give the impression of beauty. And there was little of that to be found in this haze. Do you see the silhouettes of several men in the smoky room? The one in the middle, the one looking in your direction, Master, was the present master of the house. Jacob. Jacob, right? Yeah, pretty sure that's Jacob. His name was Jacopo. That's not Jacob. I don't... Jacopo. I'm calling him Jacob, okay? And though he's dressed in such fine attire, I sincerely doubt he understood how splendid the furnishing left in the mansion truly were. I am a faithful servant of this house, and I would not, for the life of me, dare speak ill of my master. However, this is a time long past. I imagine God would be so kind as to turn a blind eye to a little bit of honesty. I was not terribly fond of my master back then. He had wavy hair the color of over-dried tea leaves, and a piercing gaze and an arrogant smile. He wore a hat that made him look rather hot. Worse. Hauntingly. He put his trust in only in money, renown, and rank. He loved only the iron and steel that has revolutionized so many industries. He had not the slightest bit of love or care for other people. At the very least, that is what I believed at the time. Take a look around the room, Master. Jacob had remodeled it into a recreational area. A billiard table sat at the center of the room, and the downward-facing lights hanging from the ceiling were especially made. The light shone upon the dark green stand like a stage, cigars and bourbon lined glass cases installed in place of the bookshelves. Wait, did you seriously install glass cases in the place of the bookshelves for your bourbon? The case were already fully stocked, their contents available to partake of readily. At that particular moment, as he had many times before, Jacob had invited several friends and acquaintances, and they were entertaining themselves. His wealthy high-rank acquaintances had a variety of hair colors, from polished brass to brown up baby robin to the color of sunburned wheat. That's one way to describe hair color. There was also much greater variation in skin tone compared to the visitors and residents of the previous eras. But that was hardly any surprise, for the mansion sat upon a land inhabited largely by immigrants the New World. What's the matter? What are you looking at? Nothing. I just thought I heard someone say my name. Ain't no one here less than you. Ain't no one there unless you're seeing a ghost. I don't believe in such nonsense. It's an old house with a long history, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be a surprise if it had a ghost or two. But if the place is gonna be haunted, I'd take a princess over a bloody broad any day. A princess, eh? And when she showed up, you have your way with this ghost lady, am I right? Calling me surprised, son. You jump on her bones and she don't even got any to jump. Come on now, that's hardly fair. Not much you can even do with a ghost. My God, are you men or children? This is my house and I would rather you didn't talk about it like that. Just the blathering of a couple old drunk. Pretend you didn't hear anything. Hear nothing. Oh, for the love of God. In any event, whatever happened to that printer you invested in? I haven't heard their name come up in some time. Can we please avoid that topic? It's been quite the headache for me. Though I'll pay it off, but it always sounds sketchy to me. I recommend you pull out unless you want to find yourself with nothing left but a nice fat pile of debt. You could have mentioned that beforehand. It is killing me. The men's deep voices resonate in the cloudy room. As they embed alcohol and puff on their cigars, they converse mostly about business and money. Jacob and the rest of the men were a breed known as investors. You might also call them tacticians. They survive on information attained before anyone else by making swift decisions and having foresight. Though instead of flesh and bone, their soldiers were made of ink and paper. To an outsider, this meeting might appear to be a congregation of friends, but in reality they were observing one another, gathering information on anything else they could use to get ahead. At times, money and information were exchanged directly, and when they were no longer of finance value to one another, their relationship would pop like a bubble and dissipate into nothing. But you know, Jacob, you can be sure of this railroad that you're so passionate about is gonna bear fruit neither. Railroad. Yeah, you don't even know if it will get finished. And even if they do connect the tracks, it will really be in any shape for people to ride. It's a pipe dream, this transcontinental railroad of yours. Jacob went silent, but I am certain this is what was going through his head. You bunch of damn imbecile, you can't see that the entire country put their weight behind this endeavor. This is why you have so much trouble making even a few thousand. Hey look, a railroad. A train. At the time, a great railway was being built across the breadth of the continent. Construction was spearheaded by two large rail companies in competition for both prestige and bigger share of this massive national enterprise. The Union Pacific Railroad Company started building from the east and the capital Central Pacific. And the Central Pacific... Wait, what? Why did my brain say capital Central Pacific? And the Central Pacific Railroad Company from the west. But government bonds alone were not enough to finance the massive undertaking. By the way, there's there's been some less than pleasant reports about the workers dying on the job for the company you choose, the Central Pacific. You mean how they're using explosives to blast through the mountains? Making quite a bang, are they? If this gets to be much bigger, if there's got to be a much bigger of a fix, they're not going to be able to continue the construction. You should at least put your money in the more sure bet of the Union Pacific. It costs you to hire replacement workers, and if they keep kicking the bucket, you're gonna have trouble finding more. Union Pacific and Central Pacific, what's the difference? My goodness. And here I thought you all had spines. You think we're gonna run out of workers just because a few ate it? Ha! There's only so many we don't even know. Wait, what? My brain. There's so many we don't even know about what to do with them all. There's so many we don't even know what to do with all of them. They're not a chance that there's not a chance that the well will dry up, okay. If by some chance it does, all we have to do is scoop up a ship full of blacks or yellow. Slifer. You won't get anywhere if you spend your time worrying about a few measly laborers. This is an endeavor backed by the entire nation. Their deaths are honorable in service of their country. Still debts. The biggest loss is not of people's lives, but of time. The longer a project takes, the more money it costs, and the less profit we make. What we seek is rapid progress, and even if the methods to obtain it are messy or deadly, a means to meet the end. The other men in the room chuckle uncomfortably at Jacob's distasteful choice of words. Do you agree with his way of thinking that no? Perhaps he does have a point in the great sacrifices necessary to accomplish great things. And it is true that tragedy often lies in the shadows of the splendor of time long past. Furthermore, the way people see the world changes with times, so I hesitate to criticize him too severely. Now, as I'm sure you have already picked up on, he was an investor who had put money into a railroad company. He also possessed several crude oil refineries hiding on the world's second wave of industrial development. The mansion too bustles with life in a way it had never before. Dozens of maids, including me, gardeners, chefs, sculptors, and artistes. At times we even had riders coming in and out of the house. There was rarely a moment of silence. However, I was not terribly fond of the hustle and bustle, personally. But please do not get me wrong, I am hardly opposed to the mansion being cheerful. It was just, how should I put it? The splendor of the time seemed superficial, heartless. It was as though everyone was being rushed along by some unknown invisible force. Part of it was, I expect, caused by the growing divide between those standing at the top and sitting at the bottom. Or perhaps the mansion was simply taking after its master. There is no time to waste. Everything is resting upon the success of this project. Whatever it takes, I will ensure it happens. I need more money and more power. Suddenly, a restrained knock on the door stopped his train of thought. From beyond the door came a woman's voice, gentle as soft spring breeze. Uh, Pardon me, I have made some tea. Is it the maid? May I offer anyone a cup? Hey! It's the white-haired girl. When the door opened, in it stood a beautiful woman with pure white hair. Why she look so different? Oh cool, she have a rose emblem on her. She looks different. It was indeed her. Are you surprised? Kinda. Or did you anticipate her appearance? Though she was not the same age and dressed differently, the white-haired girl whom you saw fall into the hands of misfortune in the era of roses and the era of beasts was also present in this era of innovation. Furthermore, she was Jacob's wife. Oh, so someone actually married her. T, I don't recall asking for that. When were you asked to make it? I wasn't. But I had these leaves with the most beautiful aroma and I thought you might enjoy. Shut your— oh god. Shut your trap and know your place. What do you think we have all— what do you think we have all these maids for? Oh, you piece of shit. Hey now. No need to treat your lady like that. She was just trying to be courteous. These are my personal affairs. Keep your comments to yourself. Oh god, here we go. His friends were unsure how to react, but ultimately nobody steps up to stop Jacob. They merely shrugged, tossed their glances at one another. Jacob stumped over to the white-haired girl, and he grabbed her arm and dragged her from the den. What the hell you think you're doing? I've told you time and again to stay away from that room unless absolutely necessary. I'm sorry, but I made tea and— shut up about the tea already. Oh, fuck you. Oh, by the way, I just noticed this face. You think we were having tea parties in there like a bunch of prestige nobles? I mean, you are a noble. I'm sorry. If you really feel so bad, don't go in there in the first place. Get the hell back to your room. I meant no harm. It's just, I am your wife. I thought it would be nice if I could do something. But like I told you before, that's not your job. Don't show yourself in front of other men. I have nothing else to say to you. Got it? Now scram. Sorry, sakes alive. First, wait, what? Sakes alive, first them, now you. It's driving me— stocks? Does he mean stocks alive? Or sakes alive, first them, now you. It's driving me off a wall. What is it? I told you to get out of here. Right, but, what? When would you spend time with me next? It's been some time since we last went out together. But we don't even have to go out. Just having dinner together would— how many times are you going to make me repeat myself, you word— fuck you. You wordless tramp, those airs only for show. Go back to your goddamn room. My apologies. I already hate him already. Looking utterly downtrodden, the white-haired girl made her departure. Such piteous sight was she. As he watched her go, Jacob merely snorted. Just thinking about the way he behaved angers me. Angers me. I have little fondness for men who don't treat their spouses with respect. So you can see, as you can see, the white-haired girl was hardly in a joyous situation. She was devoted to Jacob and tried to do whatever she could for him, but he could not brush her aside. He did so in an insulting, deliberately hurtful manner. They were far from the picturesque partners. Do you wonder then, Master, why she married him? The answer to that question will come too late in time. For now, let us follow her. The white-haired girl. Looking down dejectedly at the undrunken tea, the white-haired girl walked alone down the corridor. Though its calming sense filled the air, there was nobody around to have their heart warmed by it. Nor was there anyone to alleviate her loneliness. Despite being the master's wife, the maid who crossed her path in the halls said nearly a word to her. As a matter of fact... Oh, fuck you. Oh dear, I beg your pardon, madam. It's fine. One even bumped into her, stifling a laugh as she trotted off. In all likelihood, she had done it intentionally. The poor white-haired girl who had fallen to the floor stared helplessly at the broken cups. The tea she had made for her husband was forming a stain in the carpet. The maid's behavior towards the mistress of the house was absolutely unacceptable. Nonetheless, it was commonplace, all because of the way Jacob treated her. The more the man of the house acted cruel to her, the less weight her position as his wife held to the servants. Day in and day out, the maids worked busily, offered little opportunity for leisure, so they would naturally have accumulated quite a bit of stress. And she became the target for them to let off the steam. Not directly, though, more subdued kind of harassment from the shadows. She must have felt quite miserable. I imagine she would have been better off as one of the maids. On the surface, and in front of others, they showed respect for her as Jacob's bride, but behind the closed doors, they acted very much the opposite. The disparity between the treatment she received among others and the treatment she's supposed to receive all the time, and the way she was actually treated, made the abuse that much worse. Furthermore, as you have seen throughout the other doors of the master, she was a very reserved young woman. She could neither raise her voice in reprimand, nor raise her hand in retaliation. I have to get this cleaned up. She extended her spindly fingers towards the shards of shattered porcelain. But even the broken cup seemed to have no concern to spare for her. Its shattered edge cut her fingertips when she made to pick it up. A trickle of warm red blood ran across her unearthly white skin. And painful as a sight it was, it has a sort of taboo beauty to it. Blood spilling from her fingers showed no sign of slowing down. She clenched her hand into a fist and let out a sigh, and went back to collecting the shards of porcelain. But when she did, Maria, Madam, what's the matter? Ah, madam, you're bleeding. While all the other maids ignored her, one came running over, shouting to the white-haired girl's side. We need to get her cleaned and bandaged up. Oh, you don't need to pick that up. That's not your job, madam. It's alright, Maria. There's not much to pick up. It's not at all alright. And the rest of you, why are you just standing there? Your boss wife on her hands and knees and you're not even lifting a finger to help her. You disgust me. Maria is fine, really. Oh, madam. If you weren't so timid, this wouldn't happen. You're allowed to yell at them, you know. It's alright, really. It's my fault. Anyways, we should get that finger taken care of. Let's get you back to your room, okay? But the broken cups and the spilled... I said, that's the maid's work. Now come on, let's go. Okay. And the rest of you, get this mess cleaned up. She roared like the wind in a thunderstorm. The other maids stood there dumbfounded, watching as she and the white-haired girl disappeared down the hall. But they were soon frowning and grumbling to one another. She thinks that she could act all high and mighty just because the master is fond of her. What? The woman's name was Maria. She was one of the maids, and she was the one person in the mansion the white-haired girl could think of an ally. Though her husband paid her no mind, and the maid made her life miserable. Just one person, Maria, treated her with respect and kindness. And I'm sure you can already imagine how much of a lifesaver that was for her. I too found myself somewhat relieved that Maria was there for her. Being a servant of this house, I also was one of the maids working there at the time, so why don't you do anything? However, I was unable to involve myself to any great degree in her fate. This meant that there was little I could do to assist her. Even in times of pain and unpleasantness. The best I could do was pray that Maria will continue to lend the white girl her hand. And that does it. Thank you, Maria. You were always such a big help. Oh, no need to thank me. I just did what any good maid should do. Yeah. No one else is in this room, you know. Oh, that's right. Then I could drop the act. Man, I can't get used to talking all stuffy. I'm out there. Oh, she has an accent. This is supposed to be an accent. I'm out there doing my best, but the head maid is still pouting stuff like, your manner of speaking is improper for a servant. Every single time we meet. Sheesh, come on, just shove it up. Shove it up, would you? You damn creep. You're talking about our maid? No, you mustn't speak of her like that. Sorry, just slip over the tongue. Wait, is this a southern accent then? Slip over the tongue. I don't know southern accents. Just kinda give me the willies, you know. Speaking of, you dropped the stuff we talked to, madam. Kinda awkward if one of us is acting casual, you know. This is normal for me. If I attempted to talk like you, I would freeze up out of nervousness. This is my casual. Fair enough. I guess that would happen when you're raised well. I like it, though it has a very regional feel about it. I don't think my upbringing is the only factor. But you know, upbringing is important. Worth a whole lot more than money, I'll say. I suppose. Thank you, Maria. You're always so compassionate. You betcha they don't call me the Virgin Mary for nothing. Do they call you that? I practically bleed compassion. You know that might be true. You very well could be the reincarnation of the Mother of God. No, you were supposed to laugh at that. It's just embarrassing if you take it seriously. Alone in the White House girl room, Maria was acting much more friendly and relaxed as they conversed, as opposite to her no-nonsense attitude in the hallway. As opposite to her no-nonsense, yeah. The two women were, as you could see, quite close. They had crossed over the walls separating master from servant and built upon a friendship. Built a bond of friendship. Did I read that right? Whatever. And at some point they have begun to speak frankly with one another when no one else was around. Maria was the only person in the mansion around whom the white-haired girl felt comfortable being open. I imagine she very much enjoyed these moments of conversation. You wish to know who was a head maid was? You? My. Are you sure you want to ask me that, master? Because it was you, wasn't it? Some questions are better left unasked for your own good. Because it was you, wasn't it? I have to say, madam, you have quite the prettiest fingers. Prettiest is not a... Is prettiest... Prettiest is not a thing. Mine are all rough and dry and nasty. You think so? Mine happen to have the slightest bit of muscle. They're all about frail as dead branches. Oh, who need beefy mitts anyways? I still think healthy looking hands like yours are far more attractive. What's to like about these things? Women all over the world dream of having hands like yours. Slender, feminine, and perfectly cared for. I don't know, just looking at them lights a fire in my loins. You will want to look every last one. Actually, say, can I look them? No. Can I run? Can I run my tongue up and down all 10 of those sweet little digits? Come on, can I? What do you say? Just stop that, Maria. Seriously, no, seriously, stop. I'm kidding, I'm just kidding. No one's laughing. Oh, Maria. Alright, how did those tea leaves turn out, madam? The ones you imported. Those were imported tea leaves? All the maids just adore it. They can't get enough of that aroma. I'd sure like to get a taste of it. If you end up with extra, do you think you could spare a sip for me? That was what was in the cup I dropped? What? Really? Well, ain't that a crying shame? And Jacob wouldn't have any of it. Oh God, why does that man have to be have such a stick up his ass? You went through all the trouble of making it for him, and he was busy. It was not his fault. Busy? You mean playing billiards, drinking bourbon, and puffing a damn cigar? It may look to us like they were just making small talk, but I am certain their meeting had some importance to the business. It was imprudent of me to try to step into the men's world. That's just not right. I mean, you're his wife. Why shouldn't you be allowed into the room? It doesn't bother me. You don't have to pretend. Here's an idea. How how would you like to have some of that tea now? We also have some orange marmalade. Marmalade? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's word on the marmalade. Which would you like so much? Which you like so much? I add a scoop of that and a tray of cookies, and we have the perfect tea time. You're singing the siren song, madam. But you really should be doing that with him. He would not have tea. I suspect he does not like it. I want to. I don't want to. I don't want it to go to waste. So, madam, I know it's none of my business, and I have no place at all saying this, but it's not impossible for a woman to file a divorce these days. Oh. I mean, it makes sense. You don't have to sit down and take it, not one bit. You're pretty and well educated and still young. There's hope even if you do leave him. There are plenty of other men out there. You aren't obligated to stick with that arrogant jerk. He's just very busy right now. There you go again. There was a time when he was kind. Huh? He wasn't like this when we first met. Back then he was a little awkward, but a kind man. Him? A kind man? Yes, believe it or not. It was indeed a time. Say, Maria, would you mind giving me a little bit more of your time? I'll make some tea and we can talk. Yeah, alright. If you tell me about when Jacob was decent, I'm all ears. Indeed. Ooh, this looks cool. As I'm sure you're aware, our parents arranged our marriage, so it's arranged marriage. I just want this image. Before I immigrated to this country to be married, I lived in a misty island nation. Portraits of my ancestors were hung in the houses where I lived. I remember as a child wenching in fear at the sight of them staring down at me. My mother and my father were constantly telling me to show them respect, as it was their hard work that kept our bloodline alive and well. So her story is different in this era. However, they were fighting an uphill battle due to the same... Wait, what? They were fighting an uphill battle. They were fighting an uphill battle due to the same. Yeah, that was it. It would have been clear to anyone reasonably perceptive that our house was tumbling down. Valuable furniture and paintings slowly disappeared, and eventually the portraits were gone too. As our house collapsed, so did my parents' health deteriorated, robbing us of any source of income. And though I was educated, I lacked the skills necessary to obtain work. Just as we were about to run out of money and options, my parents received Jacob's parents' marriage proposition. Both of our families stood to benefit from the arrangement. I had social status and he had wealth. We each had what the other lacked. One needs more than money to make it in the world. Without at least a semi-reputable name attached to you, you are liable to get laughed out of most social gatherings. I first met Jacob here in this country. We didn't even know what the other looked like until our wedding day. To, to be quite honest, I was scared to death at first. I was so nervous. What kind of man would he be? I was to be wed to some middle-aged stranger. We were not married because we had fallen in love like a normal couple. I knew I was in no position to be concerned with such things, but when I thought about our future, I shook with fear. But the man I saw through my veil at the weddings was remarkable. He was young, he had strong masculine eyes, and at the time he too appeared nervous. He, he was shaking as much, no, even more than me. Seeing that, the priest gave an impish little smirk when he asked Jacob if he vowed his eternal love to me. I counted myself among the happy, and I still do. For in that moment I experienced true love. You want to hear about when he was kind to me? Well, after the wedding, we were given a week to ourselves. I suppose you could call it a honeymoon, though we didn't take a trip overseas or even go very far at all. He looked at me with uncertainty and asked, "Where would you like to go?" I beg your pardon? That's what this week is for, right? I consider granting your request, so tell me, where would you want to go? Where you want to go? This is all so sudden. Nothing. Well, this whole engagement was a spur of the moment. Normally we would have planned a trip in advance, but unfortunately our purpose is served so long as we can act the part. You must be disappointed that you have to plan your honeymoon as soon as it's happening. No, what? Speak clearly. He's still a dick. I don't like it when people don't speak their mind. Hey, he's still a dick. I'm sorry, but I'm happy. Even if this is a political marriage. Oh, you're quite a positive thinker. Your parents say something to make you think that way. Well, either way, if you are so glad to be in this arrangement, then hurry up and decide on a destination. Though there is a limit to how far we can go. If you want to take a trip, I'll consider it. What? Something's funny. It just seemed comical to me that our honeymoon had just begun and we're now only deciding where we want to go. Not in a bad way, though. I'm glad our parents didn't arrange everything for us. Perhaps you heard, but I am quite sensitive to sunlight. Yeah, and not in the not in the best health. So it would be rather trying for me to spend a full week out of the house. We couldn't go on a trip, but if it's not too much trouble. Speak up. Could you show me around the town? I am new to this country and unfamiliar with its customs, and I'm rather afraid to go wandering about on my own. Show you around? Yes. Would that be possible? On a rare bit of time you asked me to show you around town. Is that really the most exciting idea you have? I'm sorry. If there's somewhere you would like to go, I'm fine with that. I will accompany you anywhere. As if I could drag someone who just professed to being sickly all over the country. My god, I've lost all interest in the trip. He's still a dick. Hello, what are you doing? Go, get ready, now. I beg your pardon. Didn't you want to go to see the town? You, you will show me around. You're the one who asks. Not like I have any other options, so yeah, I'll show you around. Thank you. Don't just stand there, you doltar. Get a move on. One moment, please. Wait for me, please. Still a dick, I still hate him. This doesn't change my mind on him. He hurriedly climbed into the carriage he had called for, a look of frustrated displeasure on his face. And then, as if he had forgotten about me until that moment, he returned, grabbed me by the arm, and led me to the carriage. In retrospect, I realized he was not being very gentlemanly. But I was pleased that he was making any attempt to interact with me at all. The carriage trotted down the streets. I saw so many new things. I had spent most of my time cooped up inside at home, so it was like stepping into an entirely new world. And add to the rapid industrial advancements currently taking place, I saw men shouting back and forth as they smacked newspaper articles with the back of their hands. I saw a corner cafe crowded with cigar-smoking men on a break from work. It was like the hustle and bustle of a festival. But every festival has its underside. I also saw overworked men looking like they were on the verge of collapse, drinking water from a spigot on the side of the road. By way of contrast, I wore fine clothing and had a carriage at my disposal. I imagined every day was a struggle for them just to remain afloat. I had not married the man I had not married the man I had. I too might find myself on the streets in a similar situation. If I had not married, you're supposed to put an if there. Had I not, doesn't matter. Had I not, okay, English would be D. But it was not a relief that spread through my breast at the sight of them. It was pang of guilt. It felt to me like a life of opulence. The life of opulence was wrong, sinful. It broke my heart to know that I was living so much better than them. Jacob snorted disapprovingly at me, seemingly reading my mind, and then said, "The poor man who envies the rich covets his wealth and finds the ambition to make the same for himself, and the rich man who pities the poor, thinking it's his duty to give them offering of philanthropy. To me, the latter is the far more nefarious. Excessive charity will ruin a man, make him come to expect handouts. And then there are those with the wrong idea of pity, who let themselves fall down to the same place, mistakenly believing it will somehow make the poor feel better. What a joke. If you're gonna do anything for them, you might as well encourage them to climb upwards. Spur on economic growth and the flow of capital. Doesn't that sound like a better option?" I say nothing, simply smiling and giving an ambiguous nod. He had a point. My sympathy and guilt meant nothing to the people actually experiencing hardship. If feeling guilty of my own fortune, I acted upon that pity in the way he had described. It would accomplish a little more than self-satisfaction. He seemed to have seen straight through my very core. This was a man who had built his own fortune through investments, which I imagine required him to be rather astute. But doesn't a world where everyone is constantly trying to climb higher and higher sound rather exhausting? I personally would prefer to be in a position where I could watch, if only at a distance, as others climb. But obviously I could not say that much to him. Some time later, the carriage came to a stop at the front of a shop. As I looked at the building perplexedly, he gestured to the door with his calm signal for me to get out. Lost and confused, I stepped down from the carriage, and before me spread a showcase behind a large glass window. However, lined up in the case were not precious metals or expensive clothing, but machines. At first, I had no idea what kind of devices they were. Have you never had your photo taken before? No, I had a portrait painted though. Are these machines for taking photographs? A portrait, eh? Why am I not surprised? I did not mean to pose. Go on, get in. Please, wait for me. The owner came out to greet us with a wide smile as we entered the shop. Well, if this ain't the strangest thing I've seen all day. You bring a lady, a real looker at that. Where on earth did you catch this pretty little thing? She's my wife. Huh? Well, I beg your pardon. I'll be a monkey's uncle. Just goes to show you never know where the cards may fall. You make it sound like me getting married is some kind of miracle. Not mine. I always saw you as the one to choose money over love, sir. Oh, pardon me, this isn't appropriate to say in front of your wife. Do you often come to the shop? On occasions, I need some things from here from time to time. I see. There you go again. There you go, smirking again. What's so funny? We're going to have a photo taken then. Taken, yes. I'm so nervous and excited, I never had one before. And to have one taken side by side with you. What are you talking about? Pardon? Who said we were getting our pictures taken? And side to side, please. He's still a dick, I hate him. You're sending shivers down my spine. But this is a photography shop. Hey, shopkeep. The product I contacted you about, is it ready? Oh, yep, sit tight. I'll be right out. You, take a seat. There, in that chair over there. What? I'm going to show you something much more exciting than sitting still and waiting in front of a camera lens. Oh? Just do as I say. Okay. I sat down in front of a large mirror, which I presume was normally used to check your appearance before having your picture taken. Sitting before a mirror with someone else present was quite nerve-wracking. Out of embarrassment, I dropped my gaze to my knees, but when Jacob returned, I was entranced by the curious object in his hand. Oh, we got a new picture. What is this? What is that? It looks like a wheel. What is this? Do you know what a persistence of vision is. The human eye does not perceive the world 100% accurately. This is especially true for objects in motion. It remembers images for a short time, so if you put a new image in the same place, your eye perceives it as in motion. Seeing for yourself would be faster than explaining it. You see the slits in the disc. Look through the bottom one and into the mirror. Okay. Good, just like that. Bring your head close. Bring your head in close. Here goes. Standing behind me, he slid his finger across the top of the particular toy, causing it to spin gracefully. And then... oh, it's one of these. What's it called? It's a moving image thing that you could spin. I forgot what it's called. A Finicus wheel? So what do you see? They're dancing. A man and a woman are dancing. Sound like you're not having any trouble seeing it. They're dancing. Are they dancing well? Yes, they are. It's the most adorable thing. What? Adorable? That's funny. I actually have it modeled after a ballroom dance. Yes, it's a very elegant dance. But you see, they're small, like little dwarves, which I thought was kinda cute. And they seem so close, going around and around without ever letting go of each other's hand. This is incredible. Why does it look like they're dancing? They're all lined up in a row a few moments ago. Goodness, I just explained that to you. It's playing a trick on your eyes. What you're seeing is lots of different pictures in a short period of time. To put in words you might understand better, it's an illusion. Your eyes are being fooled into thinking the image is moving. An illusion, but they're dancing. They really are. And they look like they're having a wonderful time. Are you sure it's an illusion and not something else? To me, it does not seem to be. I cannot see it as anything but two tiny people dancing. That's how it works. Reach out your hand and try to grab them. You won't be able to. Ah, you're right. That's a shame. I didn't think you actually would. But it's the most precious thing. They look as though they're dancing atop my palm. I was memorized by the strange phenomenon. The pictures were moving after all. Still images had begun dancing before me. It was almost as if God had breathed life into them. Had he called it an illusion, but I could not grasp that. It was such an adorable, heartwarming sight. I imagined the two were off living in some other world separate from our own. They looked so happy. I was almost certain that they were off dancing in their joyous worlds, free from all sorrows and loneliness and pain of this one. Eventually, the speed at which they danced began to slow, as if they were resting their legs. I almost thought I could hear the sound of their feet with each step. Ah, they stopped. They can dance forever. They don't get tired. I see. I'm amazed by such an incredible device that exists in this world. It makes me wish I had gone outside sooner. I'm sure someone from a distinguished house as yours have seen plenty of amazing things with your family. Hardly, I rarely ever left the house. I'm ignorant about the ways of the world. If you had not told me, I would have probably never known about moving pictures, the illusion of moving pictures. Do you like it? Yes, of course. More than the portrait of you had painted. Yes, yes I do. The painting was wonderful too, but you can't seem to make up your mind. Go on, tell me which one you like better, the portrait or this? Uh, um, I like this better. I see. You look somewhat pleased. Though when it comes down to it, this is a simple trick only a child will fall for. Calling her a child? Then I suppose that makes me a child. If it means if it means I get to watch something as splendid as two people dancing, I'll happily fall for the trick. Quit describing it as two tiny people dancing. You're going to lose your head that far up the clouds. I'm sorry. I do not know how else to describe it though. It's a toy called... Right, it's a phenoscope. A phenoscope. I was right, it was called a phenoscope. Phenoscope. Phenoscus wheel. Close enough. Phenoscus wheel, yes. It was invented around 20 years ago. I had the shopkeep make one model after the original design. So the shop owner drew this. He did a lot better than you expect, isn't he? Yes, indeed. I'm surprised he could draw something so cute. Say that to his face and he'll go all red. He'll go red as a beet. What give to get that loan? To get a loan of that? To get a load of that? You should tell him the next time you see him. He's a sweet man. Despite how he looks, you mean? It is not right to judge people based on their appearance. I'm just kidding. Don't take it too seriously. The shopkeep here loves new technology. That phenoscope, the wheel, is one such invention that caught his eye. You can trick the eye into thinking drawings are moving. Using a sequence of photos, you can perhaps make it seem as though real people are moving too. If it becomes possible to show those images to many people at once, these developments could broaden the options of artists have to express themselves. Not drawings, but photographs. Yes, photos. By taking hundreds or perhaps thousands of photographs, it will be possible to reproduce the world as we see it. This room, people walking down the streets. There's no point in recording boring everyday life though. If you're going to leave a record of anything behind, it should be the projects and enterprise that moves nations. Say for example, a moving record of the opening ceremony of the railroad. That would be something worth watching. Then, in time, it will expand beyond the mere record-keeping technology and find its way into the hands of an artist. Is such a thing possible? You must remain still for a long time just to take a single photograph. Right now, it isn't. But eventually it will be. And I'm not simply fantasizing here. Is that so? It sounds very futuristic, if you could see the technology we have now. Do you want to support people who work on that sort of thing? Is that why you're friends with the owner? It has nothing to do with my wants. I merely think there's money in it. The rich starve for entertainment and artists create the entertainment. I have no interest in their pretentious self-expression. I just want their money. What's so funny? You look like you're enjoying yourself. Honestly, it's just about the money. As you say. Alright, let's get moving. Next is dinner. What? We're leaving already? Does that displease you? No, not at all. To tell you the truth, I wanted to spend a little more time playing with the finicky wheel, but I could not bring myself to say that as much. Reluctantly, I approached the owner to return the wheel. Don't bother. Bring it with you. What? But if you don't want it, that's fine too. Just make your decision quickly. You're making the driver wait. Having said that, Jacob exited the shop. I alternated between looking at his bag and the finicky wheel, debating what I wanted to do. And then, with a smile, the owner whispered to me, "You're allowed to keep it, really. Your husband out there had it made as a gift for you." For me? A little while back, he came to my shop asking if I could make a finistoscope. Now that's about knocked me out of my chair. He's a man who almost never asks for favors. He's pretty damn brusque, and he got a tongue sharp enough to cut steel, but he's not wicked to his core, I swear it. So please, ma'am, be a pillar of support for him. In that moment, the finicky wheel became a precious treasure to me. We had only just married days earlier, and yet he had commissioned it for me without even knowing what I looked like. I was filled with a warm, pleasant elation. I agreed with the owner. Jacob was not a bad man. He merely had difficulty expressing himself. Hurrying back to the carriage, I gave him my deepest thanks. He glanced over at me for a moment and then turned back towards the window and muttered, "Yeah." From there, we went to a restaurant for dinner. You call this pizza? The crust is an atrocity. It's like I'm chewing into rubber. How can you wave my country's flag and not serve spaghetti? Do you have any shame at all? Is he from Italy? Is he Italian? This wine is pitifully unbalanced, far too high level of acidity. Listen to me carefully. The house wine is the face of a restaurant. He complained about every little thing. It was a complete disaster. But curiously though, I was not at all put off by his behavior. When the sun set, the carriage made its way to a nearby hill. The cool nighttime breeze felt wonderful on my skin, flushed from the alcohol, and the light from the gas lamp had a comforting warmth to it. Though Jacob had complained about the quality of wine, once he intoxicated himself, his mood improved visibly. It made him unexpectedly talkative. Oh god, he's drunk. Look out to the city! A gloomy town that shuts down at night isn't suited to expand or grow. But this city isn't like that. You can see people walking beneath the lamps, and you can hear the bustle of them talking. This is a city that has plenty of room to grow. As they ride the rising wave of the economy, many more people will gather here. More people means more money in circulation. More money in circulation means the city grows, companies are founded, and more goods are bought and sold. Will it really change so drastically? It can be difficult to see what's happening from the inside, but the majority of people just go about their daily lives, and the next thing they know, they're different. No, I wager most don't notice the change at all. Only those with eyes sharp enough to realize what's happening can seize success. I cannot afford to overlook even the most minute change. Do you have a dream of some kind? A dream? I'm not sure if it's easy enough to attain. To call a dream. Others might call it greed or perhaps ambition. Don't laugh now. My intention is to make the world mine. The world? Yes, the world. And to do that, I need neither physical strength nor kindness, but money and influence. People have no choice but to kneel before those forces. Why are you so intent on obtaining power? Because I want to change my country, I imagine. Your country? You're aware that I, like you, am an immigrant, right? I immigrated from a land in the Mediterranean, though not the same island as you. My country is a particular place where calor and violence go hand in hand. Candor and violence go hand in hand. As a whole, the country is on the poor side, and nobody does anything about that. I am one but a few of my fellow countrymen who has his sights on the new world. They're falling far behind other nations. If I find success here, perhaps that will catch their attention. But if it doesn't, then my country is doomed to collapse. If you have much love for your homeland... Wait, what? Like, you have much love for your homeland. My feelings are more complicated than mere love. But that's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Well, I have to remember not to get myself drunk around a woman again. Forget everything I just said. It's about time we head back to the house. Alright, but what is it? Is it alright if I provide you encouragement as you try to attain your dream? I know my presence is more likely to be a hindrance, but I would like to be there to watch as you trek forward. I suppose, do as you wish. Thank you. You have my support then. Darling. It sends shiver down my spine, though not an unpleasant one. I'm glad to have you as my partner. I was without a doubt happy then. His smile, the things he said, the Phoenix wheel he gave me, they were all undeniably real. And those memories gave me the will to wait. For today, things will go back to the way they were. They allow me to believe.